Few seconds.
Hi.
Hello. Oh. Hello. Good evening, everyone.
Good evening, teacher.
Good evening.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year, teacher. We are missing 2 weeks.
Yes, yes.
Yes.
Very true.
Yeah, happy to see you again. Yeah.
Yeah, it's nice to see you again as well. Okay, there's a few more people joining. They just had them join. Here's some background noise. Okay, there we go. That's better. Okay, so today we're going to continue with looking at plagiarism. So continuing from last time. And today we're going to be looking at active and passive voice. And I'll be honest that active and passive voice is not something that I'm the best at using, but I do think it can be very useful, especially in your writing and when dealing with plagiarism or trying to avoid plagiarism. Okay. So that our objective for today is that participants will be able to change sentences from active to passive voice and vice versa. Okay. So I'm sure most of you have heard this before, but we are obviously happy to have you here. If you are late or have technical issues, please join the conversation as you are able to. Mute yourself when you are not talking, but please remember to unmute yourself when you do want to talk. We want to be able to hear everyone. So please complete this pre-session interactive slides. Those are in the email and they're on Facebook, and the post-session feedback form. I do look over all the feedback forms. There's some feedback that we can implement or we can give you comments on. There's some that it's just we can't make changes regarding it. But I do look over all of it, and I do try and follow up if you have any questions. This will help us revise and develop the course content. If you have questions or technical issues during the session, please send a message in the chat box indicating so, or email us at info@hettgroup.com. Okay, my name is Lisa Vance. I've taught English before. I've done environmental education. I've done teacher training, and I've done research writing classes before. So I'll be leading this or facilitating this training or class, and Kathleen is the one who makes all of the PowerPoints, and she will be co-hosting. Would you like to introduce yourself, Kathleen?
Hello, good evening. My name is Kathleen Greiwe. I'm a teacher currently located in the US, and I help Lisa, like she said, make the slides and facilitate on Facebook for these sessions.
I'm currently in Canada. I know sometimes I forget to mention that. Okay, so Show of thumbs, how well can you write sentences in active and passive voice? Like how well do you understand the difference and how well can you go back and forth? So not at all, a little bit, somewhat, quite well, or extremely well. So on the count of 3, can you show me with your thumb? 1, 2, 3. How well? I'm going to use this finger so I can. So if you could open your camera so I can see you. Okay, awesome. Okay, so lots in the middle or a little bit up. Okay, awesome. Okay, are you an active person? What types of activities do you like to do? So can anyone tell me some activities that you like to do? Either you could verbally tell me or type in the chat box. What do you like to do?
Participation in online learning.
Watch and discussion.
Discussion? Walks?
Yeah, what discussion?
Yeah. How about like, so just outside, like, does anyone like to exercise or go dancing or do, I don't know what other classes, what else you can do? Dance classes or
Singing
Zumba?
song. Singing song or
I listen English song and sometimes I sing karaoke. Yes, teacher.
Okay, good. Okay, so a lot of times when we're talking about things that we do that is active, we're using the active voice. So like I am running or I like to run. So those are all kind of using the active voice. You're talking about yourself and then you're also talking about the activity. So what is, oh, there we go. It wasn't showing up for a bit. Active, always reading books, discussing, sharing, playing games, swimming, doing yoga, walking, jogging. Excellent. Okay, what is active voice? What does it mean? Or what is it?
yes, it is there. Prefer to the who make subjects Friday.
Yeah, so direct speech. Excellent, yeah. Yeah, so it's about who the subject is. So the subject is the one that is active. The subject,
Emphasize the dual.
yeah, the subject is a doer, performs the verb of the action. So like I swim or she dances. That's obviously active voice. Okay, can you give some examples of sentences in active voice? You can type it in the chat box or just tell me. What are some examples?
I'll not bike a stranger. I'll not bike a stranger. The dog bike a stranger. The dog
The dog is
bike a stranger. Bike a stranger.
Stranger.
Yeah, stranger. He beats her.
Yeah, yeah, like he beats her at a game or something like that. I'd like to attend HETT training course. I eat burgers. Mama climbs the mountain. Yeah. The girl cooked her dinner. I am attending the class. Yeah. So yeah, it has, she watered the plants. So it has a subject or doer plus an verb plus the object. So I studied philosophy, you traveled across the country, we watched the film. So lots and lots of possible examples. What is passive voice?
Objects.
Yeah, so
Object
yeah,
is the
focuses on the
reference.
object.
Expression of the object.
Emphasize the object.
Yeah, the burger subject is unknown. Well, sometimes you kind of know the subject, but it's not focused on the subject. The subject is passive. So the subject receives the action of the sentence. Yes. Yes. So it may include the actor or doer with the word by at the end. So it's like, blah, blah, blah happened by the doer. So instead of starting with the doer or the subject, it might be at the end using the word by, but it's receiving the action. Okay. What are examples of sentences in passive voice? You can either write it in the chat box or tell me. Yeah, I was bitten by the dog. The student's question is answered by the teacher.
We are being threatened by coronavirus.
Yeah, good. Yeah, definitely. The ball.
This picture is drawn by Lalat.
Good, excellent. Yeah, so it's the subject receiver plus the verb plus maybe by the doer. Not always. You don't always have to say by the doer, but many times it might. So philosophy was studied by me. The country was traveled across. The film was watched by us.
This trainee is trained by Lisa. This
Yes.
trainee is trained by Lisa.
Yes, excellent. Yes, definitely. Okay, you will see a sentence on your screen. So I would like you to click yes if it is active, no if it is passive. So if you go to the participants button, there's a circle with a check mark or a circle with an X once you click on participants. So I will say the sentence and then you can choose which one. Okay. Math is studied at all universities.
Active.
Passive.
So
Passive.
yes for active or no for passive. I'll just give you 30 seconds.
Basic.
Passive. Passive.
Or you can write, if it's easier, you can write passive in the chat box. Or sorry, you can write like, if it's easier to write active or passive, you can write that in the chat box. Okay. Good, passive.
That's it.
Okay. We played basketball, active or passive? So just write it in the chat.
Active.
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 Active, teacher.
Okay, good, active. The professors wrote many articles, active or
Active.
passive?
Active.
Active.
Active, teacher.
Okay, good, active.
Passive.
Passive.
Mistakes
Passive.
were made.
Passive.
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 Passive, teacher.
Passive, good. The cars will have been designed by next month.
Passive.
Passive, teacher.
Passive.
Okay, good. When do you normally use active voice in writing?
Daily expression. Daily expression.
Yeah. Yeah, so it was kind of mentioned earlier, when you want to be direct and clear, and maybe narratives, it's easy to explain. Yes, good. We don't have a slide for it, but when it comes to research writing, when might you use active voice? Which parts of a research paper are more likely to have active voice in them?
Active voice mean
Which sections would be more likely that you might use active voice in them if you're writing a research paper?
result and discussion.
Experimental.
Transportation.
Result and discussion.
I would say the discussion. I mean, it's up to you. Like, there's no hard and fast rule. It is up to the person a little bit, but the introduction is probably more likely to maybe use the active voice. The introduction, the discussion section, and maybe the literature review will use the active voice. Okay. And when do you use passive voice in writing?
Expression in the laboratory procedure. Whenever we write our procedure or experimental work, we write in passive voice.
Expression. Allah.
Yes, the chemical is put in a flag and then it's heated like that.
Definitely, definitely. So yeah, so when the actor or doer is unknown or unimportant, traditionally it is often used in academic or scientific research, although the active voice is becoming more commonly used in scientific writing. But traditionally, the passive voice was more common in academic and scientific writing because it was kind of less, I think it's almost less emotional. And again, we don't have a slide for it, but which sections in a research paper are more likely to use the passive voice?
The experimental section.
Sorry, one word.
Experimental section for
Yes.
science research. And then in the finding for social science, whenever we interview and we write experts how the interviewers they explain and they express their feelings whenever we use passive voice.
Yes, yeah. So yeah, definitely. So again, they can both be used. Like there's no rule. But yeah, like you'd mentioned the experiment part. And so yeah, the methods is usually written in passive voice or almost always written in passive voice. Your methods or methodology. Results might be passive. Yeah. And it also might depend on the journal. Some of the journals will tell you if they prefer passive voice or active voice. And then obviously you should follow what the journals say as far as what type of voice you should use.
Yes.
Okay. How are active and passive voice related to plagiarism? So we talked about what topic did we cover last time?
Paraphrasing.
Paraphrasing. So how could it relate to paraphrasing?
Paraphrasing in which
we
words
paraphrase
and
the
grammar arrangement.
Yeah. So we talked about rearranging as part of paraphrasing, and changing from active to passive or passive to active can be a way to rearrange the sentences as part of paraphrasing. So changing, yeah, so changing from active to passive or vice versa can be part of paraphrasing, which can be part of avoiding plagiarism. So obviously it does depend what you are writing or where you're including the information. Maybe you can't change it or it doesn't make sense to change it. But it is one way that you can change the order of the sentences and reorder the information.
Yes.
What verb forms are used in active voice?
Present tense or past tense. Simple present and simple past.
So actually, yes, yeah, but like any tense can be used. So scientists discover, scientists discovered, scientists have discovered, scientists will discover, scientists have been discovering. So it doesn't matter which verb form is used, as long as, again, it's just kind of that structure where it's focused on the subject or the doer. Okay, but how about the passive voice? What verb form is used in the passive voice?
Yes, I think all can be used like adjectives.
Yeah, so any tense can be used, but you use the to be form plus the past participle. So to be, past participle. So the evidence, I'm just going to use a drawing tool quickly. The evidence was discovered. The evidence has been discovered. The evidence will have been discovered. The evidence had been, which one would that be right here? But the evidence had been being discovered. Okay. My annotation tool.
Hello, Lisa.
Yes.
Hello, Lisa. I have one question.
Yeah.
I have one question, and please give an example how to write had been, verb 3. Yeah, discover. Give one example. The evidence had been discovered, and another. I want to see another example.
Okay, the evidence had been being discovered, like a different example.
Yeah.
Usually you would use that when someone got interrupted in the middle of something, like the girl had been dancing when the man turned off the music.
Okay. Okay. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah. Or that doesn't quite work. Sorry, let me just think that through a little bit more. So yeah, it needs to be the past participle. The girl had been being, the evidence had been being discovered. Kathleen, can you think of another sentence?
With the evidence?
I think with being. Had been being. If there's any other.
The book had been being written when they canceled the publication.
Oh.
So that would be a rarer tense to use. I think you would use it only in the case when something had been being done and then was interrupted by something else.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, it was like in the past, but yeah, interrupted in the middle of the past. But yeah, it's not used as often.
No.
Okay, What is the past participle of experiment? Pretty easy.
Experiment. Experimenting.
Experimented.
Yeah.
Yeah.
ED.
Okay, what is the past participle of learn?
Learning.
Land
Learn.
or
Learned.
land.
Learned
Learning.
or learnt, depending if you are British or American.
Land.
Learned.
What is the past participle of run?
Run.
Are you and run?
Run.
Run.
What is the past participle of read?
Red.
Red. IED. Red.
Red.
What is the past participle of try?
RIED. Try.
Good. Honestly, you guys probably, in a way, know those better than me as far as following the rules, because I all of that grammar I only learned to teach English. As a native English speaker, it's not things that I think about. But I only learned about the tenses as I was learning how to teach. So as you had to learn English, you probably know the tenses better than I do. Same as I had to learn them when I learned French. Okay. How do you change active voice to passive voice? So if we're going from active to passive, what needs to be changed?
Asking. Yeah. Active to passive. We find the object and put the object at the start of the sentence.
Yes. So move the object of the sentence to the beginning to make it.
Change the verb from active voice to passive voice.
Yes.
Or the right is written like that.
Yeah, so add an auxiliary verb in the same tense as the original sentence, change the main verb to its past participle form, and maybe move the original subject to the end of the sentence by adding by. And check to make sure your subject and verb agree in number. Okay, let's see. So you can put it in the chat box. Oh, I have a lot of messages. Let me there we go. Yeah. Many professors perform research in order to earn a promotion. So that's active voice. What would be passive voice for that?
Research.
Research.
Research is performed by many professors in order to earn a promotion.
Research is performed by many professors in order to earn a promotion.
Is performed by many professors. In order to earn a promotion.
Yes, so researches performed by many professors. Yes. Okay, let's look at the next one. Oh, I need to close my annotation. So how do you change passive voice to active voice?
Yeah.
So it's pretty much like the opposite. So you remove the by if there's a by in the sentence, and move the doer to the beginning of the sentence. If the doer of the sentence is not known, add a subject like people or researchers. You can add the doer. Remove the auxiliary verb, change the past participle to its base form, and conjugate in the same tense as the original sentence. Move the subject of the original sentence after the verb to make it the object. Check to make sure your object and verb agree in number. Okay, so a couple of comments, yeah. So passive, a complicated series of tests was completed by the participants. Put it in the chat.
Complicated series of tests.
The participants completed
a
complicated series of
complicated series of tasks.
tasks.
The participants
Yeah, the participants completed a complicated series of tests. Good. Okay, so we're going to do a group activity. I'll give you about 15 minutes to work on this. So it'll be on Pear Deck. Work together in groups to change sentences from active to passive and passive to active. So choose one person to share the screen on Pear Deck and then work together to make sure that you're changing them all correctly. And just so I think everyone should know by now, but just to quickly go over Pear Deck. If it'll open. Should open. So just remember the arrows are on the left bottom side and you can just go through it. And then if you click the T, I wrote on this already once, but you can just write beside it. So active to passive, there's 3 sentences. And then passive to active, there's 3 sentences. So just write the correct version. And so you have about 15 minutes. It probably won't take 15 minutes, but we have lots of time to do so. Okay. So I'm putting the link in the chat box. So make sure to choose one person to share the screen to do the writing, and then work in your groups in the breakout rooms to talk about it. Breakout rooms. So I have 32 people. I'm going to create, I'll do a little bit. I'll do 6 breakout rooms. Okay, and options. So we'll give you 15 minutes. Okay, Kathleen, would you like to turn on the music, please?
သူ့လိုလိုပြန်ရောက်သွားမယ်နဲ့တွေ့နော်
như là gái vậy biết được
Did
gọi là
you
vợ
ask for help? Are you finished?
yes
yes
but Lisa we
The lesson and
can large the size so lesson is disappear
Oh,
we can try.
I can change the large size so lesson is disappear but we try our best
okay. Yeah. I mean, you could probably just, yeah, maybe have someone read it out loud or something. Wait. Yeah. Yeah. Because, yeah, it's just so you can see it. I'm just going to show my screen. Just 1 second. Yeah. Bridges must support the weight of vehicles. So then,
The weight of vehicle.
the weight of vehicles vehicle
yeah, just so you know, we're almost finished though. So you can go back soon.
weight of vehicle must be sub
Okay. So let's go through them. Yeah. And do them together. Students earn their grades through hard work and dedication. What is the passive voice of this?
E-R-N-E-D. E-R-N-E-D.
So
Yeah,
maybe
and
you can maybe put like their grades.
Their grades are in
Earned through
through
their
hard
grades
work and
earned
dedication.
And by
the students through
By the students through
hard
and dedication.
work and dedication. You can read that slightly differently, but that's just an example. Illegal substances cause many hospitalizations and deaths.
Many hospitalizations and death are caused by illegal substances. Are caused by illegal substances.
Okay. Bridges must support the weight of vehicles.
The weight of vehicles must be supported by bridge.
Of vehicles must be supported
By bridges. Bridge.
So
Lisa Vance gave this presentation.
GAVE.
GAVE.
Simple cars.
Gave. Sorry. Gave this presentation. Okay, the exquisite dessert will be prepared by the chef.
The chef
will prepare
exquisite.
Not be.
Oops. The chef
will
prepare the
Exquisite.
I can't spell right now. Exquisite dessert. There we go. Exquisite. Is that it? Okay. The examination is completed in only 3 hours.
3 hours. 3 hours.
Student complete.
Maybe everyone.
Students complete the
Complete.
examination.
Not eating.
about. No,
Not eating.
complete.
Only simple present. Simple present. The
The
examination.
students complete the examination in only 3 hours.
3 hours.
3 hours.
Okay, I think that's good. Okay, cool. Let's go back to the slides. Okay, so it's kind of two together, but just to review, so when will you use the active voice and when do you use the passive voice? So when will you use the active and when will you use the passive?
Subject is doer.
Daily expression
Then make action.
Yeah.
When to emphasize.
Yeah, to emphasize the doer. Yeah, so that's the active, definitely.
We have to use active voice.
Well, we can, oh, and what was that? Universal truth active. Okay, good. So how well can you write sentences in active and passive voice? Not at all, a little bit, somewhat, quite well, extremely well. On the count of 3, 1, 2, 3. Can you show how well? Okay. So still some in the middle, some up here, some 3s, 4s, 3s, 4.
4.
Okay, good. Okay, so please complete the course feedback. I'll put the link in the chat box right now. we go. So there's the feedback form. I will also email out the feedback form, and I will email out a link to the Google Classroom. So we keep all the material on the Google Classroom, and I will update the Google Classroom probably tomorrow. Next week, we're going to be looking at citations, and we're going to specifically be looking at APA. Okay, so and these are references. Thank you very much. Does anyone have any questions?
Thank you,
So,
Lisa.
hello, Lisa. I have questions.
Yes.
And I would like to ask about your new trainee.
Yes.
New trainee.
Yeah.
For January 18. And then I will also ask about the payment after my identity. How anh campaign in KP or?
Do you mean the 15-hour one?
Yeah.
Like the teacher training?
Yeah.
As far as the payment, yeah, you see, that can just be sent to the KBZ Pay, and it's up to you how much you want to pay. So you can kind of decide, and you can send it after, you can send it before, or you can send it afterwards. We'll include the information in the feedback form from that one as well. So for the 15-hour one. But yeah, it's whenever you want to and however much you would like. So we're gonna just see how it goes, and yeah, you can also message me about it. Yeah.
Yeah. Another question. I would like to attend also ILD course. ILD. Yeah. You announce in the Facebook.
IELTS. She says maybe IELTS.
Yeah, IELTS.
Oh, IELTS.
Yes, IELTS.
Okay, yeah, sure. So it's not me teaching the IELTS, it's someone else I know that's teaching the IELTS.
Yeah.
But you can send me a message, and then that might be the best way is if you send me a message, and then I can figure it out and I can send you the information about it. So.
I'm afraid for my schedule, it may be better. I'm afraid of. I want to attend two new classes.
Okay.
2 new classes, and then.
But yeah,
I'm afraid of my time. So I would like to know what time is you will teach for IELTS or for new training.
I think it says on the posters, but I can't remember. So for private classes, like one-to-one classes, they're kind of flexible. And I think IELTS, it's either Tuesday, Thursday, or Monday, Wednesday. I can't remember exactly if it's group classes. Yeah, I'm not sure exactly. Probably better to message me and then I can tell you. So I can double check because I can't remember off the top of my head.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Okay, I think I'm going to end it there. So thank you very much and bye-bye.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you.